A very good evening. You're watching News 9 with me, Akshita. Well, just a few weeks after the shocker from Pune where a nanny assaulted a baby, another similar incident has come to light from Bengaluru this time. 1-year-old baby boy Naman was assaulted by his nanny yesterday. Naman's parents, who are techies, left home last morning, and when they returned home at around 11 last night, the baby was sleeping. Later on, the parents realized that the baby had bruise marks, scratch marks, as well as blood clots on different parts of its body. The parents immediately rushed the baby to the hospital where the assault was confirmed. When the parents confronted the nanny, aged around 17 to 18 years, she initially said that the baby had fallen from the sofa, but when probed further, she claimed that she felt as if she was possessed and was not conscious about what she had done. The couple approached the police last night to complain, but the police refused to arrest her since they did not have a lady constable in the station. The girl's family from Bangarpet came to the city in the morning and requested the techie couple to not file a complaint and took the girl along with them. The father is Ravi Jairam, who works in an IT firm, along with his wife Somya, who are residents of Koramavu. Yet another shocking incident coming to light there. We're looking at a 1-year-old baby boy being abused and assaulted by his nanny when in fact the parents were away. And along these lines, the question we're asking our viewers is, do you feel safe leaving your child alone with your maid? You can share your views with us. Call us on 080-2236-0303 or 04, or you can also text us what you think at 54999669. The numbers are flashing on your screens. But a shocking incident nonetheless. What we have to highlight here is that the parents seem to have taken it for granted to a great extent. The maid was only 20 days old. She was 18 years old with absolutely no sort of professional training into taking care of a baby. And of course, it is understood that the parents had their relatives living on the ground floor, which is why they thought that their baby was safe. In fact, this woman, the 18-year-old, to a great extent pretended to love babies, and once they did find marks near his rib cage, but dismissed it as rashes. But this time around, as soon as they saw these marks, they rushed the baby to the hospital, and the hospital authorities confirmed that yes, he has been assaulted. Looking at the nail marks and also looking at the bruises, which it is suspected was gotten after the baby was hit with a soft object. Let's listen into exactly what the parents had to say about this shocking incident.
No one is there at home to take care of the kids. So what we do is basically, what we have done is like we hired one maid. Okay, she's 17-year-old. Her name is Savita. She is from Bangarpet, and basically her work is just to take care of kid, nothing else. Okay, feeding and also cleaning his clothes, not anybody else. Okay. Today when my wife came early, that time he was sleeping, so she didn't notice like what happened to him. Then once I came from office in the night, he was sleeping, but still I was able to see like these marks, black marks. Okay. Then what I did is like just I called my wife. I said like what happened? I don't know. It's swelling. Head is swelling, and also there are like a lot of marks here. Okay. Then we spoke to her. She was not ready to reveal anything. She said like probably like he got hit by something, caught or something. And morning her grandparent came and they took her. I don't want to register a complaint because I don't want to get involved in this like wasting time on these things. Anyway, I told them, I'm sent her back. Now there should not be any problem.
Her behavior was normal. She used to speak like normally, like about her family and what he did today, how much he had, or anything, any issues he had, if he cried a lot today. I mean, she used to explain everything, but she never used to talk about he got hurt there or something like that. So and whenever I used to go to take him, she used to say, no, I will hold him here. I love kids and I want to be with them all the time. So I was taking care of Geetika, and she used to take care of the small baby. It was like total shock. We never expected, because she used to be very nice. I mean, like a family member. So don't go by their face. please go through a background check of the lady who you are hiring. So, and please inquire the home she has worked before, like how was her behavior and what was the reason she moved to the next house.
Well, those were the parents, of course, both of them equally shocked by what had happened. They never expected that their maid would go ahead and assault their own baby. And that is exactly what we need to highlight to all parents out there. Without doing a background check, do not trust your baby with anyone, considering, of course, that you will not be at home. In fact, the parents also went on to state that they were mulling over setting up some CCTV cameras to find out if, in fact, the maid was treating their little boy right, but before they got to doing it, they saw that he had several marks, and of course, time and again, this only highlights the need for better safety being taken, safety measures being taken up by the parents. They have to ensure that if they're leaving their toddler alone at home, it is with the right kind of company. Also, of course, a nuclear family, the kinds of even having your own relatives take care of the baby is always a step that will in fact be taken seriously. Also, we spoke to a doctor to find out exactly what are the steps that can be taken by parents to ensure the safety of their child. Let's find out exactly what the doctor had to say.
Two things. First and foremost, try and gather as much information as possible about the person that you are likely to employ. Now, you can get people from two different sources. Either it is by word of mouth that you know somebody and who would then refer them to you for employing this person, or you go through the agency. The advantage of going through the agency is that they would have done some amount of background check. They would have some amount of information about this person, especially more so if the employment is the third or fourth. So you would have some reference to go by. But if in case this person were to come to you through a known source, then I would say you should gather as much information as possible. If that is not possible, and this is the first job this person is doing, then I would say you are taking a slight amount of risk. But the risk can be mitigated if you were to follow some guidelines. What are the guidelines? First and foremost, you need to think if there is any other person that can actually stay with this person while they actually continue to work at home. Now, this will act as hindrance for any possible abuse of the child because there is another person around. And two, it will also give a chance for the person who is employed to be observed at close quarters when they are actually working with the child. Watch out for any signs of change in the child's behavior. What are the possible changes in the child's behavior? One, it might not sleep well. It might have nightmares. It will probably wake up much more frequently and start crying much more than what it had been doing previously. So it will have difficult sleep. It will probably start eating less. It is also possible that it is going to be more cranky and more demanding during the daytime when the parents are around. And it could, if the abuse continues for a longer period of time, say 1 week or 2 weeks, then it's also possible that the child could lose weight. So if any of these signs are there, then I think the parents need to just sit and think for a moment whether the decision to employ this particular person is the right one. Because if the child is actually gelling well with the person who is employed as a nanny, the child will actually start showing more emotions. The child will start actually developing quite well. The child will start actually putting on weight. And you could also see that if the child has been waking up 3 or 4 times in the night, it probably will wake up less number of times because it's more emotionally settled now.
Well, that was one of the doctors telling us exactly how to find out if in fact there is something wrong, including of course if your child loses weight, if he or she wakes up more often in the night, if they are demanding a lot more when the parents are around. All those are signs that maybe they are being ill-treated when in fact they're left alone with their maid. And moving on, scenes of chaos prevailed at BMTC's depot number 31 as officials went up in arms against the suspension of a driver. Protesters condemned the suspension of BMTC driver Gopalakrishna and blocked over 150 buses at the Sumanahalli depot. Kamakshipalya police are currently at the spot trying to broker a truce between the angry employees and BMTC officials. Well, this was the kind of chaos that was witnessed in Sumanahalli, the BMTC bus depot erupting in violence of sorts as hundreds of officials were seen coming together, employees, I beg your pardon, coming together, going ahead and protesting against the suspension of two BMTC drivers. We understand that these employees state that absolutely nothing was done by these employees for them to be suspended, and because of the suspension for no apparent reason, they went on to protest and things did go completely out of hand. The officials were trying to in fact speak it out with the employees, but soon everyone lost their temper. Things went out of control and even took a violent turn, and finally, of course, the Kamakshipalya police arrived at the spot. They successfully managed to separate the two warring factions, but things are still very much tense. Let's listen to what one of the conductors present there had to say.
ಸರ್ ಅದೇ ಬಸ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಕರ್ತವ್ಯ ನಿರ್ವಹಣೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಬಸ್ಸಿನಲ್ಲಿ ತನಿಖಾಧಿಕಾರಿಗಳು ತನಿಖೆ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ಬಸ್ಸಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಟಿಕೆಟ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರ್ತೀನಿ ನಾನು. ಎಂಟ್ರಿ ಹೊಡೆಯಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಆಗಿರೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಇನ್ನೂ ಸ್ಟೇಜಿಂದ ಇನ್ನೂ ಒಂದು 20 ಅಡಿ ದೂರದಿಂದ ಬಂದು ಬಸ್ಸಿಗತ್ತಿ ಉದ್ದೇಶಪೂರ್ವಕವಾಗಿ 500 ರೂಪಾಯಿ ದುಡ್ಡು ಕೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ನಾನು ಕೊಡಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ. 500 ರೂಪಾಯಿ ಫೈನ್ ಕಟ್ಟಲ್ಲ, ನಾನು ನೋಡ್ಕೊತೀನಿ ಅಂತ ಬಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಕೆಂಗೇರಿ ಗಂಟ ಟಿಕೆಟ್ ಮತ್ತು ವೇಬಲ್ ಎರಡೂ ಕಿತ್ಕೊಬಂದು ಉದ್ದೇಶಪೂರ್ವಕವಾಗಿ ನಾನು ಫೈನ್ ಕೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಸರ್ ನಾನು ಫೈನ್ ಕೊಡೋಕ್ಕಾಗಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಆದ್ರಿಂದ ಬಂದು ಇವರು ನನಗೆ ಬೇಕೇ ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಅಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೀನಿ. 500 ರೂಪಾಯಿ ಫೈನ್ ಕಟ್ಟಲ್ಲ, ನೀನು ನೋಡ್ಕೊತೀನಿ, ಡಿಸ್ಮಿಸ್ ಮಾಡಿಸ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂತ ಅಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೀನಿ ಸರ್. ಬಂದು ಡಿಸ್ಮಿಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಸರ್ ಡ್ಯೂಟಿಯಿಂದ 2 ವರ್ಷ.
The conductor stating that for no apparent reason these particular drivers were suspended, and that's what's led to all of this anger. We'll have to wait and watch to see if some sort of a consensus is reached and whether in fact these employees will be happy or whether they will be forced to continue their protests.